Hi everyone, today I want to talk about AI, but we are going to talk about it in a really practical sense. Just for entertainment, I came up with an idea to have a user, me, versus AI. So we will have various tasks and see who performs better. So let's start. So the idea is that we will see what strengths AI has in the development workflow, or broadly speaking, text manipulation workflow. What tools we can use and when to use them when we don't use AI. So kind of a little bit of contrasting what kinds of tasks lends themselves better for AI tooling and which not yet, or maybe not at all. And again, as I mentioned, we will see like challenges. There will be 5 different exercises that I will try to take head on, and AI will also do them. And at the end, I hope you will be able to see that there's certain thread in what kinds of exercises or kinds of tasks are better suited for AI tooling and which ones are still quite okay or expected to be done by us, by developers or users. And at the end, I hope it will give you some practical takeaways as you work with AI tooling and try to understand how to use it best. So the contenders, one is AI. Obviously, it's trained on the whole internet, can use Bash or Go or whatever, and types super fast. I cannot type that fast, obviously. However, I, of course, know better what I want to do. So, or at least most of the time. So this is the showdown. I will be trying to do the same task as AI. So why is it important to understand when to use AI? And it's more likely that you probably, if you're using AI, you probably just dump something in Claude or ChatGPT or other tools and just try to get it working. There is this concept of vibe coding and other ways of using AI. But what I want to say is something more practical. So no matter what are your tools of choice, there are certain class of tasks that AI works better with, and there are certain class of tasks that we can still do, and we are faster, and it's also fun. So AI really excels at context understanding. So whenever you have text that cannot be transformed using any rules, things like regex, substitutions, if there are no rules, then AI is the proper tool to pick. However, if there are rules, if you can perform text manipulation in a structured way, it's very often easier and faster to use a dedicated tool, or if you're watching this channel, you probably like Neovim, or to use Neovim substitution or other things. It's just really the question of, is this something that you're doing often? If this is something that you're doing often, you probably will be much faster by having dedicated automation for it rather than asking AI to do it. And of course, you do this in conjunction. Often, single task will contain steps that are more leaning towards AI and steps that can be more automated. So how the challenges look like? We will have 5 different text manipulation tasks. I specifically choose text manipulation, not images, not videos, AI is obviously multimodal, but from a programming perspective, we mostly deal with code, which is text. So we will manipulate various files. We're gonna show how AI attempts to do it, and then how I attempt to do it, and then compare and kind of talk a little bit about each of the tasks and each of the attempts. This is obviously just a contrived task, but I try to make them a little bit real life like, or a bit more interesting. So those are the 5 challenges. We will see them soon in action. And just a reminder, AI shines in contextual understanding, in natural language understanding, where the context matters, domain knowledge matters, in terms of like text, producing text, where humans are better if we can have any kind of structure or pattern. So we can apply tools like regex or language itself, programming language itself, or other tools where we can have a structured pattern. Side note for the way I think about whether we as developers, or to speak more broadly, white collar workers, knowledge workers, will be replaced by AI or augmented by AI. I feel that the litmus test here would be whether the task is a complete black box or not. What I mean by that is, if we have a non-black box programming, that means that at some point in the life cycle of software or a system we design, there is a need for human intervention. As long as this is true, then we talk about us being augmented with AI tools, because we have to understand the code, we need to reason about it, we need to test it, and so on. And I feel that this is more about not replacing, but more augmenting. However, if we will have a scenario where the entity, the program that is being generated is a complete black box, like AI currently, it's just something nobody ever will look into, then I'm afraid that that's the replacement scenario, because then there's no need to have a programming language like Rust or Go. They are just for humans, right? AI can write on a lower level or invent its own language, and that is much more efficient and much better. So if this ever comes to pass, that we have a full black box kind of model where we only reason from observable effects and side effects that system produces, then humans are not needed. How it will go, I don't know, but I have this kind of mental model of looking at it. So for now, we are clearly in the augmentation model phase. How long will it last? How will it look? I don't know. Time will tell. Okay, so before we do this key takeaways, I want to swap us to the demo. So first, we're going to set up 2 Tmax sessions. So we have now Tmax session for user, and we have Tmax session for AI. You can see that they look the same. There's nothing here. One says human workspace and human progress, and AI workspace and AI progress. So that's the beginning. And now let me introduce you to the exercises. We can see there are 5 exercises. So we have JSON formatting, text patterns, data transformation, line sorting, and text extraction. And I think I best show you how it works. So we have this battle session script that essentially will create a kind of a testing environment for us. So JSON formatting, and now it says here, let me make it a little bit smaller. I hope this is not too small for you. This is my user session. So this is the instruction. So what we need to do. At the right hand side, you see a div. It's a little bit, the file is a little bit big, but we can look at it. So here we have what is in actual files, like a little bit of a mess of a JSON. And then this is the desired result that we need to change this file into. So this is like a broken JSON exercise. So I think we all were there where we had to work with JSON and fix something. Again, there are like tools that validate it and so on, but we're just going to use Neovim to do it. So what the task is, it tells us fixing Python style booleans. We have a true and false that is in capital letter, and we need to make it small letter. So let's do vim exercise, and you can see here we have these users, so we can delete two, so dt and then curly braces. So that's the first thing that we can do, so our JSON is actually correct. And then we can do something like that. So now we can do simple substitution in Neovim. So we have this true and false. So what we can do, we can actually delineate it as a word. So this is going to start as a word. I'll do true or false. So look for true or false. So this is what we're looking for, right? So you can see now it found the true or false, and now we are replacing this with something. So how can we replace this? We can of course replace this one by one, but I think nicer is to try to use simple functions. So you might have seen my video about doing Neovim edits and so on, and there is a way of using a simple function. So like this, we can do to lower, and as an argument we have to take what we matched on. So in Neovim this is submatch. It's a function that extracts essentially what we matched on. Submatch. So 0 is the submatch that we want, and we have to do G for everything. So you can see in the preview we've replaced true and false. So we essentially take either true or false. So the search condition is we delineated this with word. So this is word. The angle braces delineate a single word, and then we do this true or false, and then whatever you found, replace it with the lower version. So this is a simple to lower in Neovim. So if everything is correct, we are going to have true and false done. So this was the second part of the task, and we actually have to present this JSON in kind of this nice way. This is also very easy. So we can select the whole line, put exclamation mark, which drops us down here to the bottom, to the command line, and we simply do JQ, and that's it. So JQ, so you can use external command line tools inside of Neovim, and in this case we just pushed everything to JQ, and it says human progress completed with lolcat. Okay, great. So this wasn't hard. This was a task that is very easy, and if you work with JSON often, you will have those kind of tricks. So this is faster and easier than letting AI do this. If you have a big JSON, you will waste a lot of tokens on essentially a really easy and repeatable task. But let's see how AI does it. So AI, I'm going to show you the prompt here. So we are using Claude, by the way. So there's a Claude CLI, and I have here the same instruction. So you see here it says I launched Claude via a script that I had earlier, and it says please read the instructions from the file and then complete the exercise. And AI is reading the instructions and then changing the file. So it does it also correctly in one go. Very easy task, nothing to expect. Okay, AI also completed it. So I would argue AI did it much faster, but this was a very easy task, and I feel doing such tasks is nothing within your daily work. And if you do this often, you can definitely automate it. Okay, so that was one task. So we had done this JSON formatting task. I would say the score for now is 1 point to each. I did it without a problem. It was fun editing, and AI, of course, did it also without a problem. All right, let's do the second one, 0, 2. So this is text pattern. So let's see what this says. So now we have loaded a new exercise. On the right-hand side, again, we have the div of the file, and here are the instructions. So this says this time that we need to identify different phone number formats in the text and convert all of them in this 3x's minus 3x's minus 4x's. So you have a format that is 3 digits, 3 digits, and 4 digits. And in here, some of them have dots in between them, some of them have spaces. There's like brackets here. So, okay, so this shouldn't be that hard either. So let's see Vim exercise. And I'm going to drop again to substitution. And let's see. So I want to first start by doing D3. So that's the first 3 digits that I captured. Then I want to actually capture it. So I'm going to do this make a capture group out of it. So that's a basic Vim regex. Then anything in between and another, so another D, this time also D3. So another capture group. So we captured 3 digits and another 3 digits. Then it can be anything in between again. And I want to capture this time another 4 digits. So D and then 4. So now we have captured all of it. We have those dangling braces, but we can remove them later. So I have 1. I'm referring to the first group here. Then I do minus, which that's what is expected from us, to format everything with minuses. Then I'm doing 2, which is the second capture group, and the third capture group. And I don't need this G because we only have one number at the line. So that's the first conversion, and you can see this works, but we have this bracket. So I can do this again, and I can do this bracket, replace it with nothing, and that should get us going. Yes. So we don't get the nice congratulations, but we did it. This is how it could be done. I think it would also be possible to exclude the open bracket, but it was fast enough. I think it was pretty simple text manipulation. We were able to identify the pattern, and the moment we identified the pattern, we were able to use regex in this case and just substitute everything. So let's see what AI does it. So AI did the same instructions and it read the file, and now it wants us to replace it a little one by one. So I'm going to let it replace everything using Shift Tab. So change the content of the file. And as you can see, we are changing it here. So it kind of replaces one by one. It's less efficient than I was because it just literally changes one line at a time. So for this exercise, I would give, although to be fair, I didn't get the bracket. So I think we both maybe get like half point for it. Or let's say 1 point, so it will be easier to calculate because I didn't get the bracket and I did like literally just one change at a time without any tool use or any logic. Okay, so we have done 2 tasks so far. Let's do one more. So we've done JSON, we've done text patterns. Let's do data transformation. So we do battle, and then this will be third task, data transformation. Let's see what this is about. So we have converting the CSV data to a properly formatted JSON. There's a lot of ways that it can be done. So I could, for example, open a web browser and, copy paste CSV and do the JSON. I could use various tools. There are 2 tools that are quite useful. So one is pandoc, that essentially is like a Swiss Army knife for text conversion. I could use pandoc, or I could use Miller. So Miller is another tool. So I already did it. So we have here in history, and you can see this essentially takes input as CSV, output as JSON, and then executes, like how it takes the source file, it executes the cat command on the exercise file, which is our CSV. And the sponge command comes actually from a package called more utils. And what it does, it enables you to write back to the file that you're reading. So instead of doing something like redirect the exercise, redirect the result of the command into temp file and then copy it back over, we can do the sponge command to exercise. But before we do this, I want to show you the diff here, because it's quite a lot of data. So this is the input, so that's our CSV, and here we have the desired output. So if we exercise this command, we've done it. So now we can do Vim exercise. You can see this is in JSON. So simple conversion, right? So you could, of course, do it in Neovim and try to like manually do it, or use awk, or use Python. You know, again, this is a solved problem, right? So if you have things like convert, you know, from CSV to JSON or other data, it's not using AI for it is, I think, a waste, because it's very structured task. You can definitely do it by using any of those tools. The only question is, how often do you do this? If you do this often enough so that you know those tools and have implemented it in your workflow, it's just super easy. But let's see how AI does it. So it already is trying to change the text here. So let's scroll up. Like, what did it do? Yes, so it read the instructions, it read the file, and it essentially wants to convert it. So I have no doubt this is going to be correct. Yes, so I'm not sure why this time it didn't get a little congratulations, but it did it. So this is correct. And we also did it. So I would say also, I would probably give more points here to me, again, because it's such a repeatable tasks. But let's say 1 point, and again, 1 point to Claude and 1 point to me. So we are so far equal as it comes to tasks. Okay. So we have done those 3 tasks so far. Now let's go to this line sorting. So we do the 0-4 line sorting. So what this is different. So you can see here, the instructions say, this involves identifying the different categories marked by comments. So you have things like valid functions, validation functions, admin functions, system utilities, and we have names and the body of a function. So this clearly requires semantic reasoning about text itself, about the meaning of text. I think I could somehow make my life a little easier in Vim. So for example, I could say, okay, so I want to somehow label them, right? So the desired result is that they should be essentially like admin functions. All the functions that pertain to admin should be under admin, and so on. So I could say, for example, okay, so there's user actions. So delete user is a user action. So I could, for example, say I can mark this this specific spot with mark A, for example, and I can go maybe create user is here. So I can do this. I can, for example, do that. Select everything. I'm just fumbling here. And I can do M, and I believe, so I can do, I forgot how to do this, but I could move it to this bookmark, but I can also just jump to the bookmark myself and then paste it. So that's how I would probably do it, right? I would just read the file and I would cut and paste into user actions and so on. But I don't see a way of automating it, because this is like, I need to understand what each function does. So is it this admin functions? Probably, and so on, right? And I would have to move them. Those functions are also labeled, so I could maybe search for a label. I could imagine that I could use something like macro maybe here. I could use, so user actions, just search for another user actions. So I could just do like star, and okay, this is here also. So I could again do delete this, go here, paste it. That's probably how I would do it. And I'm not going to finish it, but you could see how it can be done. There are some ways in Neovim that you can make your life a little bit easier, but still, it's a contextual, text-related task. And here, Claude already is attempting to change it all. So let's see how it works. And complete it, right? It's rearranged everything correctly. We were able to verify that that's exactly as expected, so that's great. So definitely here, I would give point to AI. So if you have such a task where the text content matters, there's a contextual understanding required for the text, that's a good one to give to AI. Okay, let's see. We have one last task left, this text extraction. So battle and then 05 text extraction. What does it want from us here? Identifying key value pairs in a document, extracting headers and section titles, and converting the extracted information into structured format. So this is a little bit like a mix of both types of tasks. There are certain things that we can do, and this is a task where I would use AI and I do something myself. So for instance, if we identify the key value pairs in a document and we can mark them somehow, then I can use macros or regex or something else in Neovim to extract the headers and section titles. Whenever we have something like converting the extracted information into structured format, I can also do this. I can say, okay, each line of this information can be converted into a table, for example. That's also doable with various text manipulations. The last one would be also for AI, organizing the data in a logical and hierarchical manner. Again, I'm not going to do this, this video is already quite long. You can try to do this yourself in Neovim, but let's see how AI does it. So now AI is here trying to get this in this way. Let's see if this is what we want. And you can see that it's organized, but not exactly how we want it. So this is organized in this kind of table, but what we want is a difference. So now I will tell AI, this is not right, check diff. So I can execute the diff command, and then it's a little bit like cheating because it knows exactly what is the required outcome here, and it can simply just perform the text manipulation. So what I can do here, which is a very important distinction, each time in each of those exercises, we had a desired result against which we were able to perform the test. So this is very important because you don't always have this. You sometimes will have a task that will be open-ended and you will be like, maybe this is right, maybe not, I don't know. Let us move on real quick to this key takeaways. Come back to this slide. So as I was saying, it is very important to have this understanding which task can be done with AI and which task you can do and you should do. This is definitely something that I feel a lot of people now kind of lose the ability to perform those automations. I am also a victim of this, but I stopped using products like Copilot and others, and I now use only agentic AI for certain tasks, and otherwise I program myself in Neovim. Anyway, AI augments rather than replaces human capabilities for now. Remember the black box versus non-black box programming or text manipulation. The last task, the last exercise was the best example of this complementary strengths, and it's very difficult to do because by default you just want to use AI to do everything. But in reality, if you understand the task, you can see, oh, I can do this myself. And then I can just ask AI to do something smaller, like only a chunk of task. And this is surprisingly efficient. I noticed that at the beginning I was skeptical about this workflow because it seemed to me like, why? Then AI can just do everything. But the problem is that if you let AI do everything, especially in agentic mode, then you lose the oversight of what's happening. But if you say, okay, I am editing a file with you, and you can still use agentic mode, so tools like Claude or the new codecs from OpenAI or others, or there's some open source tools like Aider and so on. But the main point is that you really want to be able to use it in conjunction, together, identify which task AI can do to help you do your tasks better. And my experience with this workflow is that it's extremely efficient. It's faster and more efficient to do this like that than to offload everything on AI. Try it yourself and see how it works for you. Again, if you have something that you use often, repetitive tasks, use tools, snippets and automation, scripts, whatever you have, to just do it. It's simply involving AI is economically not good, right? Because you pay for tasks that if you're using tools like third-party tools like Claude or others, you just pay for tokens that you could do for free, just by creating a simple tool or using a simple CLI. And also you just retain some sense of agency over what you're doing. And again, use AI tooling for context-related, unstructured text generation tasks. Okay, that was a lot, so let's go through resources. Here are some links to Neovim documentation. I also used Claude here as a tool, as an agentic tool, and some other links that might be useful for you. So that's it for this presentation. It was quite a long video, but it's been a while I've been thinking about it and playing with different tools, and I noticed that a lot of developers have this kind of binary view at using the tools, but I feel that there's this sweet spot of really using them in a smart way and building on top of them and with them, rather than just replacing something. So this has been my experience and I wanted to share with you. I am also very curious, how do you use AI tools in your workflow, whether it's programming or something else? What are your thoughts? And how you feel about AI encroaching on our space here if we are developers and so on. Anyway, thank you for watching as always, and see you in next video.